Howdy, folks. I'm Gabbing Gray Comma, graciously greeting giant goldfinches.
I'm Amber.
And here are more giant goldfinches for us to greet, but they're birds or butterflies, and things didn't go quite as expected. And now there's little butterfly birds going everywhere. You thought I was going to say that they got eaten, but you were wrong. Let's get started. Oh, and folks, this is Amber's week of publication.
Yes, my book is out in the world now, so if you are interested, you can find a copy online
Yeah.
or in yeah,
And if you go to our community page, then you can also find the book listing.
the purchase link and
Yeah,
everything.
all you needed to do is go to my YouTube profile, and then there's a like posts or community posts, and you'll see it there. So yeah, let's get started. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for not cleaning my friend's house after pet sitting their cat for a week for free?" While ago, I helped out two close friends, Steven, a good friend and a former coworker, and his girlfriend Clara. We worked together for about 4 years until I moved away 8 months ago. But we stayed in touch and I visited a few times. I also became good friends with Clara and they live in a rented house. Well, 2 months ago, they adopted a stray cat and they were absolutely over the moon. Since they'd never had a cat before, and I've had cats all my life, they messaged me constantly with questions. They had a 1 week vacation booked before adopting the cat. Clara asked if I could come and stay in their home and take care of their cat. She said that it was a big ask, but I was the only person that she trusted. I have a flexible work situation, and they are good friends, so I agreed. Well, I used 5 vacation days and I traveled 6 hours to their city and I stayed for 7 days. I took care of the cat, I watered their plants, and sent daily photo updates. The fridge was fully stocked and I didn't spend anything. But the week was rough. I had relationship problems and I tend to overthink, and the cat went into heat and meowed nonstop. They said that they would fix her before, but it didn't happen. With not too much to do and the constant noise, I was really drained. Still, I got through it. Well, on day 6, I sent Steven a voice message saying that I was happy to be heading home and explained how I'd cleaned before I was leaving, but some mess would remain. He replied that I shouldn't worry about it and they would handle it. Well, the next day, second 6 hour trip, 2 hours after I got home, Steven called, very polite, but clearly upset. And he said that they were shocked at how I left their place, and told me that Clara couldn't stop crying. I was stunned, and I told him that I thought part of the compensation for my help was that I wouldn't need to leave the place spotless. He admitted that he misunderstood my message and thought that I had planned to do a deep clean. We ended the call politely and chalked it up to a miscommunication. Here's what I left: empty bottles refunded in my country stacked on the table, trash that could rot taken out, and cardboard, other dry trash were left in one spot, used towels and bed sheets in a pile near the bed, some rinsed dishes in the dishwasher, 3 4 items that were rinsed but not loaded, no danger in reach of the cats. I lived alone for 9 years and have always been considered tidy, but yes, I failed to consider their much higher cleaning standards. I apologized to Stephen the next day for only seeing through my lens. Clara, however, sent a very harsh message. She was very disappointed and called me ungrateful and ended the friendship. She said that I shouldn't even dare to justify my behavior or apologize for anything. That message hit me hard, and I lashed out in return, and I called her ungrateful, crazy, emotionally unstable, childish. I know. Now Clara and I are done. Things with Steven are strained. The damage is done, but I still wonder. So, am I the jerk for not leaving the house spotless after cat sitting for free? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Mostly not the jerk. The only place where I fault OP a little bit is the name calling. But I think that Clara's expectations are frankly unreasonable. OP used vacation time to pet sit for free. I would understand if they came home to the house like completely trashed, like OP threw a giant party in their house or something, and there was spills everywhere and furniture toppled. But I mean, it sounds like what OP left behind is stuff that typically like you could expect someone to leave, like leaving returnable bottles somewhere where the couple could return them, um and like leaving what was like bedding, used bedding and towels by the bed. Like generally guests wouldn't be expected to wash their own laundry after there. Like if you have someone staying in your house, I don't think it's generally expected that they actually do all the washing up.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't really make their expectations about what was required out of OP known, and that they had different expectations. It's certainly fine if you have one set of expectations, but this is a lot to ask for somebody who pet sit their cat for free.
And also, like, missed work time, like,
Yeah,
used vacation days to do this pet sitting.
yeah. So it feels very ungrateful that and non-appreciative of the sacrifices that OP made
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that their cat was well taken care of, right? And again, like you said, if this had been like a giant party or something like that, I could understand them being a little more upset,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at that point in time, you're not doing your job as a pet sitter, you're using their house as a party zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, I mean, I think that they needed to make their expectations far more clear if they wanted OP to do deep cleaning. That way OP could have, either deep clean like they wanted, or just declined and said, "Oh no, I'm not really interested in deep cleaning a house that I've stayed at."
But it might be for the best to have Claire out of OP's life now, because she does seem kind of manipulative to begin with. Oh, you're the only person I would trust to watch my cat. I know you'd have to take off work and drive 6 hours each way, and we
Mm-hmm.
are not going to pay you for this, but you're the only like, if OP means that much to you, you would have compensated her.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Other Neighbors About What I Heard Through My Ring Doorbell After They Complained About My quote-unquote noise? I'm a 20-year-old male and I live in a duplex and installed a Ring doorbell 6 months ago after packages kept getting stolen. The audio picks up conversations from my front door pretty clearly. My upstairs neighbors, a couple in their early 30s, have been complaining to our landlord about me making excessive noise late at night. I'm a college student and I game with friends online, so I'm usually up until about 2 a.m., but I use a headset and barely make a sound. The landlord warned me twice about disturbing other tenants. Well, here's where things get complicated. My doorbell has been recording them having very loud arguments on the front steps at like 1 to 3 a.m. for months. And I mean loud, like screaming, crying, door slamming. Way louder than me ever talking to my gaming buddies. But the real issue is what I overheard last week. The guy was on the phone with somebody, clearly his mom, based on context, saying, Seriously, this college kid, look, we've been keeping track, filing reports when he gets too loud. Landlord's already talked to him a couple times. If he's gone, we might actually be able to afford the whole hallway. I was furious. They were literally trying to get me evicted with a false complaint while being way louder themselves. So I made a group chat with the other neighbors and I shared the footage. I said, just wanted everyone to see what actual noise violations look like since apparently I'm the problem tenant. Now the whole street knows that they were lying about me, and they've been scheming to kick me out. The landlord saw the video and dropped all the complaints against me, but the couple is absolutely livid, saying that I violated their privacy by recording private conversations and destroyed their reputation by sharing it with the neighbors. The wife came crying to me yesterday saying that I've made them outcasts and they might have to move now because everyone thinks that they're manipulative. She said that their relationships are already rocky and this public humiliation might be the final straw in their marriage. Part of me feels bad because I did share a private conversation, but they were literally trying to destroy my housing situation with fake complaints. And the recordings were from a public area where everyone could walk by. My roommate from last year says that I went nuclear and should have just shown the landlord privately. But honestly, after months of being painted as the irresponsible college kid, I wanted everyone to see who the real problem neighbors were. Am I the jerk for sharing my doorbell recording that exposed their scheming and private relationship drama? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Her whole thing about, but this is making us look manipulative. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been manipulative if you didn't want to look manipulative. If they want to have loud conversations in public areas exposing their schemes, like a bad horror movie villain, then that's on them.
I mean, this does feel very bad horror villain-esque, right? I don't know, like, what they're thinking here. And honestly, like, the whole situation just seems very strange. Like, they're trying to get OP evicted so that they can get their mom to move in the hallway. I don't know, like, who does this? It's just a very odd situation. And I don't know what their real intentions here are. as for OP sharing this with the whole neighborhood, I don't know. I don't know if I would even really want to be on a group chat with all of my neighbors, to be quite frank.
Well, I mean, I think it is valuable information to know because if they can't get OP kicked out, then like they might try doing something to someone else so they can get another unit. So I think from that perspective, like, yeah, OP could have gone to the landlord and there wouldn't have been anything wrong if they had just gone straight to the landlord. But I think there also can be value in warning other people that, hey, one of your neighbors is actively trying to sabotage me. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some benefit there. I mean, chances are, though, the landlord isn't going to really put up with their nonsense after exposing them like that, right? Like, the landlord's going to know that they have some kind of game that they're playing if OP went to the landlord alone, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I just think that this is a very strange situation. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Everyone in my life thinks that I'm a successful musician. I actually make most of my money ghostwriting TikTok jingles. I'm a 25-year-old male and I graduated from music school, and my social media is full of clips of me playing jazz, singing indie covers, and writing ethereal cinematic scores. My family and friends think that I'm working on my first album. They send me gig opportunities and share my Spotify link. In reality, that pays almost nothing. What actually pays my rent? Making stupid jingles for TikTok brands and YouTubers. Stuff like Bite It, Snack It, Sloth Chips, Crack It. Get your glow on with Tan Drops sponsored. I've got over 200 jingles. I've made over 200 jingles, and I've ghostwritten a parody rap for a YouTuber who pretends to be a medieval knight, and a pop breakout song about toenail fungus. I am not ashamed of the work. I'm proud of the hustle, but I feel fake for letting everyone believe that I'm some kind of underground genius. My mom cried when I told her that I was finally living my dream. If she knew my biggest earner last month was a song called Fart Like Nobody's Watching, she might die on the spot. All right, folks, what do you think?
OP, you are a musician. And I think a lot of people don't understand how little most artists make off of doing the art that they value. Like the money in art is in the commercial side of it, advertising jingles and like making art for like ads and stuff like that. Unfortunately, our society as a whole really devalues art. Like people aren't willing to pay money for music or books or movies. Everyone wants, things at rock bottom prices, or even try to convince artists that you should just give this away for free.
Yeah.
And so most people who make their living as an artist, it's not for the things that they really love and are passionate about. It's for, they're ghostwriting books for other authors, or they are writing ad copy, or they are, writing jingles like OP, or, designing advertisements and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that OP needs to undercut what they do. They're still writing music, and that still makes them a musician, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's art that you enjoy making or not. I mean, it's what you're doing for a living, right? It still doesn't make you less of a musician, right?
And it sounds like it affords OP the time to make the art they value as well. And that's something that's important, having a job where you have the work-life balance so you can still make the art you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Silently Changing My Son's Name After My Brother and Sister-in-Law Gave My Nephew the name too? My wife and I had our son 4 months ago. We had the name chosen early in pregnancy. We kept that name to ourselves, but my sister-in-law, married to my brother, found it out when she was still pregnant with my nephew, almost 7 months old. She never said how. She just told us that she loved the name and congrats, and she couldn't wait to meet him. We assumed that she had snooped because she was not told. I even mentioned it to my brother, and he said that his wife does like to browse through people's things, and it was no biggie. Well, then my nephew was born, and they announced his name, and it was the name that we chose. First, middle, and last name. My brother called right after sister-in-law posted the announcement, and he told me to keep quiet because his wife had a rough birth and she didn't need the drama, and he knew that we might not like it, but she really wanted the name. Her reason was that my brother and I have matching twin-like names, and sister-in-law wanted to connect our two boys by just giving them the same name so they were each other's namesake. My wife and I talked it over, but we decided to pick a different name. But we pretended to keep the original name until there was zero risk of sister-in-law changing my nephew's name. 6 months after birth is harder to make a change in our state. We only started telling people the true name last week. My parents and sisters said that it made sense, and friends and my in-laws understood why we did it. My brother told me that I upset his wife by silently dropping this nonsense and taking away her choice to match the baby's names. He told me that it was a jerk move. I told him that his wife using the full name that we chose was a jerk move. I asked him if he considered how much tougher it would be for both boys enrolled in the same schools with the very same name, not to mention banking, doctors, dental, all kinds of stuff. He told me that plenty of people have the same names, and it's not that big of a deal, and it's harder to mix stuff up now, and we're just trying to gatekeep names. I think that he is being ridiculous, and so does my wife. And she said that he clearly doesn't want sister-in-law to be mad. But am I the jerk for what I did? Like, are we weird for thinking of this kind of stuff? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, what sister-in-law did was unexcusable. And brother too, like the fact that he knew his wife has a tendency to snoop and didn't bother to give anyone a heads up, just, oh, ha ha, she just does this.
Mm-hmm.
If you know someone has a tendency to snoop through other people's belongings, you don't bring them into their home. So brother has an issue with boundaries there, as well as sister-in-law. And again, took away her right to name or her say in naming the boys. She has a say over her own kid's name. She and a brother can pick their kid's name all they want. They don't get a say over OP's kid's name. So, I think that OP's brother and sister-in-law just need to move on and let their kid have their own identity outside of OP's kid.
Well, and also, like, this should have been a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, if this is something that she really wanted, then she should have sat down and been like, hey, this is something that I would really love to do. Would you be on board with it, right? And then OP and their wife could have decided if they wanted to do this, right? But clearly they didn't want to do this, and they didn't want to be forced into doing this either, right? So, and they could have also come up with like a compromise, like a similar name or something like that that's not identical, but would have still tied the boys together.
If they were interested in that. Yeah. But it seems like OP's, sister-in-law just wants to have unilateral say over making sure that the boys have the same name. And she is not the only interested party in all of this, And so I think that she needs to recognize that OP and his wife have a right to name their kid as they see fit, and it is not her business.
Yep. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did the corn cob say to get its neighbors to listen?
Oh, the corn cob says, I have ears of corn. You better listen, you other corns, or otherwise I'll chop off your ears.
Will you lend me an ear?
Uh-huh.
And it's National Corn Month, or Corn Month.
That's corny. Very corny. And I have licorice spice. Oh, you want to talk about your book again?
Yes. So, this is my book, and I will be having a virtual book event on this Saturday, so tomorrow at 6 p.m. And so if you want to come, it's just going to be kind of a casual chat, Q&A type thing. So if you have any questions, it doesn't have to be about the book specifically. There's no expectation you've read it or anything. Just kind of, a fun hangout time over on my new YouTube channel.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll link that if I remember.
And the book is available online in a lot of different places. Brian has a link in the community tab that if you're interested in checking it out.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on being a villain.
If you're going to monologue like a bad horror villain, expect that villain downfall.
That's right. That's right. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!